Welcome to the Five Before. My name is Pastor Mark. I'm the student pastor here at Spring Hills, and I have a special guest. You'll never guess who it is. No, it's not Pastor Brad. Yeah, it's Pastor Tom. Man, you guys are good.
I am so glad to be here on my very first appearance on the Five Before, especially with you, Pastor Mark.
I appreciate that. But go ahead, you got some awesome news for us.
It is really big news, Pastor Mark. This is pretty amazing news, we are reopening in a limited way 4 services on the weekend of May 30 and 31. About 2 weeks out, we'll be welcoming people to join us live for services that weekend. So listen, same times for Saturday night, 6 o'clock, May 30th, Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, but we're moving the 11 o'clock service back to 11:30 so we can fully and completely disinfect the building.
Man, it sounds very responsible, disinfecting the building, but what about when they're in the building, like social distancing? How are we going to handle that?
That's a great question, Pastor Mark. Thanks for mentioning that. So just so you know, we've already set the chairs here in the worship center to be socially distanced. However, that's part of why we're calling it a limited reopening, because we're only able to welcome about 300 people to each of those services. 275 here in the worship room and about 30 additional folks in the fireside room watching the service on the live stream, but here in the building. Now we're going to go first come, first serve. Now we know some Spring Hills attenders can at times come late, so that might motivate you, first come, first serve, to be seated in the services.
What about like when they arrive in the building? What are some things that they can expect as they get here?
Here's the thing. When you arrive, we're going to be practicing staggered entry. We don't want people getting too close together. We're still maintaining distance. So as you arrive, there'll be some spots outside in the front. I'll personally be there to greet you, probably wearing a mask. I'll be greeting you and letting you know we're coming in as family groups as you arrive. Once you walk in the building, you're going to come in, find your seats. You're going to sit together in that socially distanced way. And then when the service ends, we'll also have the same staggered exit as well. We will have one way for the hallway, so one way in, the other way out.
Nice. So you're going to wear a mask. Does that mean they can high five and fist bump you, or?
So we are going to ask everyone to refrain from handshakes, high fives, and hugs.
I was wondering about masks. So I know that there's this idea where I don't have to wear a mask because I don't want to wear a mask, that kind of thing. Are we requiring masks?
So again, this is a great point. So we are saying Saturday night and at the 11:30 service, we are recommending that you wear a mask. But at the 9 o'clock service, here's a change of term, we are strongly recommending everyone at 9 would wear a mask. In fact, we'll have some masks available for that 9 o'clock service for those who don't have masks. Now, we're not making it mandatory. That feels a little heavy-handed. So we're just really, especially at 9 o'clock, saying we really recommend. I'll probably personally bring you a mask, for example, if you're at that service without a mask. We want folks to know who really want to be in a protected environment, 9 o'clock is the service to come to. Now, we're also recommending them for Saturday and for 11:30, but it's not quite as strong a recommendation as that 9 o'clock. Now, I've got some other things that are limited. Sorry about this, Pastor Mark. We're not beginning any midweek ministry at this point. So things like Amplify that you lead will still be online. And by the way, it's going really well online.
Thanks.
And other ministries will stay online. We'll be exclusively online, except for welcoming folks back to those 3 weekend services.
So what if we get into this and we realize that we're having to turn people away? We don't want to turn people away. So what might be an alternative to that?
So we are talking about beginning a service that would be Sunday night at 6 p.m. as well, offering a 4th service to invite folks back to be in the building and to worship together. Might have a little different worship feel, the Sunday night service, but we're just kind of watching it first, seeing the entry, and then we might have that additional 4th service.
So is there anyone who should not come?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for mentioning that. Now, you know, I've actually have a few. Just want to thank several medical professionals that I've been calling or talking to and just asking questions of in this really difficult time. And one of those medical experts actually mentioned to me that if there's anyone out there of any age category that is feeling especially fatigued, that has any kind of fever, take your temperature before you come. If you've got a fever, don't come to church. And then especially, probably the worst symptom of all is that cough, because the cough produces produces those respiratory droplets that then do infect others with the virus. So if you're feeling bad, you're feeling down, you're feeling like you're feeling sick, you got a temperature, a cough, stay home. Listen, I personally, I'm a risk taker. I love taking risks, but this is not the kind of risk that people should be taking. Let me say one last thing as well. We know there are two age groups that may not want to come back right away to services. The first might be parents with very young children. We know we don't have kids ministry available, and so if you've got young kids, you may want to think twice about coming in, and if you do come, you might want to bring some things for those young kids to do as they're sitting in the worship center. The second category are folks that are 65 and above, and especially those who have a compromised immune system. For those folks, we're still recommending maybe it's better for you to stay at home than to come and be here live with us. But we do want to let you know you're welcome. We love you. We love taking care of you. We love you taking care of us. You're essential to all that we do. Thank you for your prayers, for your service, and for your giving as well. Giving reminds me of one last thing, Pastor Mark. So a question might be, are we going to actually pass the offering baskets? And the answer is no, we're not. We're going to simply have a box, probably in the back of the room, for offering. So you might walk up in a socially distanced way, put your offering or your gift in that offering box in the back of the room.
Yeah, or continue to give online as many of you have already been doing. So May 30th and 31st, same service times, except for that 11 o'clock service is just being adjusted to 11:30. And don't forget, we definitely need people on our media team to help serve and to provide this live stream service to so many people in our community. So Pastor Tom, thanks so much for being a part of the Five Before. And now we're going to shoot on over to the main stage.
Let's go to me on the main stage. Here I am.